Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond the Evidence. This is the channel where justice matters. My name is Mark. I am a true crime fanatic, and I love to dig deeper into the mysteries of unsolved cases. Join me as we search for missing persons, uncover the clues in unsolved murders, follow along with jury trials, and we'll be a voice for the voiceless. I'll share with you the facts, the theories, the clues, the evidence, and the controversies that surround these cases. This is Beyond the Evidence. Hello, hello. Welcome to Beyond the Evidence. We are here talking about Tabitha Shuck Raines. This is episode 26. Wow. We got lots more to go. Let's bring in that new grandma. Hello, hello, Andrea.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You are a new grandma.
Sure am.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
And we got a treat for all of you tonight. I'm going to share my screen. Andrea, you can do the honors.
Okay.
Introduce us.
This is Miss Savannah. She was born on the 10th of April, and she weighed 8 pounds 4 ounces and was 21 inches long.
Yes.
And
Such
she's
a
a cutie.
peanut.
She got a little chubby cheeks.
Yes, she does. I wanted to show you guys the close-up first, and then our second picture. She was brand new there.
Yep.
8 pounds 4 ounces, 21 inches long, and a week early.
Yep.
Hey, Honeybee. Hey, Carrie. How are you doing? So we're just introducing everybody real quick to Andrea's grandbaby, Savannah.
First grandbaby.
First grandbaby. And if I know some just came in, so I'll show the close-up again. She's such a cutie.
Wide-eyed, mushy-tailed.
Yeah.
And she's now realizing that she likes to be held, so she's keeping mom and dad up at night now.
Oh boy. Oh boy, they're in trouble.
Yep.
Look at all that hair.
She's spoiled already.
Oh, I bet. Oh, that cat wants out. Hang on a minute.
I'll say, yep, she's already started.
Oh. So yes, this is little Miss Savannah.
Yep.
7 days old.
7 days today.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow. No, today's Wednesday. Yeah, so it'd be today.
Yeah. Today.
Yep, today.
Well, congratulations to Bryce and Sam.
Yep.
And you.
Yes.
And all the rest of the family.
The fam.
Yes.
She was talking.
Mark's at church tonight, so he's not here.
Okay.
But
she was talking to mom the other day. Mom went to finally meet her. Mom went to finally meet her on Monday, and she was cooing at mom and everything. Aww. I said, oh, "Okay, now I'm jealous."
So yes, we just wanted to introduce Andrea's grandbaby because she's finally here. 2 days
Finally.
after I left.
Yes.
That's all
Yep.
right. We're here. Carrie says, "Aw." Honeybee says, "How precious." Yes, she is. Hey, Rescue All the Dogs. How are you? Okay. So the last time we were on here, we thought we were done with supplemental reports. Boy, were we wrong. Because we found more.
Yeah, I should have stopped digging.
I know. So the plan is to get through all these supplemental reports tonight. And if anything, tomorrow night, we'll talk about the memorial walk, go through the video a little bit so that I can point out what places that we stopped and stuff.
I really don't think there's that many more pages to the supplemental reports. I think maybe 10 pages is all that between the 3 emails that I sent you.
Well, this one is 80 pages.
Yeah, but there's a lot of those
Some
are
of it is-
duplicates.
Huh?
A lot of it are duplicates of what we've already read.
Yeah. Hello, Elanda. Fight for Justice. How are you? All right. So we are going to start with the October 3rd supplemental report that we found. And
I think we've read page 1 already. The one that says vehicle involved.
I don't know if... Actually, I don't think this one was read. I think
Okay.
there was one kind of similar to it,
Okay.
but I think this one has other details in it.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this one real quick. This
Oh, Lord have mercy.
the dogs. Dogs are going crazy. All right, Andrea can unmute herself when she comes back. Hi, Pam. How are you? So this is by John F. Alley on 10/3 of 2002. And it says, on 10/3/02 at 6:10 p.m., I received a report that a Tabitha Raines has been missing since 10/2/02 at 6:30 p.m. This was reported by her husband, Mike Raines. Mike and his mother was at the police department to report her missing. They advised that the last time she was seen was at 6:30 p.m. at the residence of Roberta Souders, and it gives the address. Tabitha was last seen walking or wearing black stretch pants with a black braided belt and black flip-flops. Tabitha is approximately 5 feet 2 inches tall, red hair, below shoulder length, hazel eyes, and fair complexion. Tabitha also has a tattoo on her right hip of a heart cased with the sun. She was also wearing her gold wedding ring and engagement ring. I was advised by Roberta that Tabitha came over to her house and asked to watch her son, Drake, because she was going to go to the hospital with Kyle Neff to see Kyle's girlfriend's grandmother, who was not expected to make it through the evening. Tabitha advised Roberta that she had to leave because Kyle was waiting on her. I asked Roberta if at any time she saw Kyle outside the residence or a vehicle description he was in. She said she did not see one. Roberta said at 6:15 a.m. she contacted her son, Mike to see if Tabitha was there, and he said she most, hang on, she must still be at the hospital. Roberta wrote out a statement as to the events that occurred throughout the day on 10/3/02. I talked to Officer Pike, who advised me that he had talked to Kyle Neff, and Kyle told him that he saw Tabitha at the village pantry around 7 p.m. on 10/2/02, and she told him that she was going to go party with a girl by the name of Liz, and he did not know her last name. Officer Pike also talked to another friend, Lindsay Groves, and asked her if she had seen Tabitha and advised her that she is not in trouble. He just wanted to see if she was okay. Lindsay advised him that she would see that she got the message. Possible friends of Tabitha are Elizabeth Balser, Lindsay Groves, Jamie Hamilton, Stacy Johnson, and Emily Sprinkle.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, then we have a witness statement from Camille Pride. On 10/11/02 at 1 p.m., I interviewed Camille Pride at her place of employment, the body shop of Dan Young, located at Market Road in Tipton, Indiana. Miss Pride stated that she had known Liz Balser for approximately 7 years and used to date Liz's brother, Terry Ward. She went on to say that on Thursday, 11/3/02, she was in Liz's company from 8:15 p.m. until 10 p.m., and that they were with other friends outside the Tipton courthouse. She said they talked and ate Chinese food. Ms. Pride said that Sandy Raines arrived, informing them of Tabi's disappearance. Ms. Pride said that on 10/7/02, she got off from work at 5 p.m. and went to Marie Farlow's residence, where she stayed from 5:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. Ms. Pride said she called Liz Balser's mother's house from a phone booth in the Pizza Hut parking lot in Tipton, and that Liz subsequently met her there. Ms. Pride said that she and Liz Balser drove downtown to the Tipton courthouse, where they met up with Dave, whose last name she said she did not know. Ms. Pride said they talked for a while, and then the three of them went to the liquor store and purchased beer. Following this, they all went to Marie Raines for approximately 45 minutes and then went to Little Daddy's bar in Kokomo. Ms. Pride said the three of them were at Little Daddy's from approximately 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. Ms. Pride said that Liz Balser is friends with a girl who dances at Little Daddy's, but she, Pride, did not know the girl's name. Ms. Pride said that Liz's girlfriend, Dancer, came to their table several times during the course of the evening, and that Liz went to the bathroom with the girl for a few minutes. Pride said that Liz Balser made the statement, "People are accusing me, Balser, of hurting Tabi, but I did not do it." Ms. Pride said that Liz Balser never made any reference to having any involvement in the knowledge of who might be involved. Ms. Pride said that Dave was intoxicated and began making sexually oriented comments to her, so she and Liz Balser left him at Little Daddy's. Ms. Pride stated that on 11/8/02, she was again with Liz Balser at Liz's mom's house from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. Ms. Pride said that while there, she, Liz's sister, Diane Brown, and Diane's boyfriend, Rudy, last name unknown, all watched movies. Ms. Pride said that Liz Balser has never made any statements as to what happened to Tabi. This officer will have nothing further to report at this time. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That was Mike Tarr from the state police, too.
Yes.
That did that one.
Pam, I know you just had a birthday on the 12th. Happy birthday.
You tell me when you're ready
Hey,
for me to
Gordon.
read.
I am.
You're ready for me to read?
Yeah. Couple pages.
Okay. This one is, the narrative is from Neil Kendall. Neil Kendall gives the address and the phone number, came on station and advised Detective Stout that John Yates had worked for him at one time approximately 6 weeks ago. In the first part of October, he came home to use his phone, and when he hit redial, an Elwood number of blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah came up on caller ID, and it was to the Harold M. Yates residence, and then it gives the address, and in Elwood. And he knows that someone had made that call to that residence other than him. And that was taken, it doesn't have a date. Oh, 10/22/02.
Okay.
Then the next one is at 8:17 a.m. on 10/7/02. Nancy Johnson came to the police department, gives her address and her phone number. She stated that Wednesday night, 10/2/02, at approximately 8:45 p.m., her and her husband, Wyatt Johnson, were walking in the park, and in the area of the U-shaped drive, they heard what they thought to be shots coming from the back of the park and observed a red four-door vehicle, male driver wearing a baseball cap, exit the park in a hurry. Second vehicle, white, gray, silver, coming from the area of the shuffleboard court, not able to give a plate.
Okay, so red four-door vehicle, male. Who would that be?
Well, John Yates drives a red truck, or drove a red
Right.
truck.
Anybody else we know that drove a red truck? Hey, Randy, how you doing?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so. What about the second vehicle, white, gray, silver?
Well, according to what everybody says, Liz Balcher's car was either orange or rust colored.
Right.
So that doesn't fit white or silver or gray.
Right.
White, silver, or gray would be Michael Raines' truck or Roberta's truck.
Okay.
And I don't know what color of vehicle Kyle had. I can't remember what they said it was. Okay, so then we need to skip to page 8 because we've read all those others. This is the summary of Roberta's statement.
Actually, will you read the next one, Patty Luttrell, again? I just want to refresh that in everybody's memory.
Patty Luttrell gives her name, address, phone number, stated to Detective Stout that she is employed at the Tipton Hospital, and approximately on the 1st or 2nd of October, she believed it to be on the 2nd, between 10:50 p.m. and 10:55 p.m., when going to work in the hospital parking lot, she observed a pickup truck, dark in color, newer looking, driving in the middle drive. She heard yelling and shouting, and then she observed the vehicle exit back out of the drive on the south side. There was no topper on the truck.
Okay, so the reason I wanted her to read that again is because remember, we have tire prints.
Yep.
And it would be from that area or further down.
Yeah. Well, it was in the grassy area just to the west of the water tower and kind of like in the very back corner of the baseball field, behind the baseball field fence. Well, what used to be the baseball field fence. Okay, so this narrative, this summary on Roberta, I don't know if we want to read that.
Wait a minute, we didn't read the next one either.
Well, we had talked about that earlier. That's the stolen article in Cicero. That's what that is.
The Matthew Brumfield?
I'm pretty sure.
Not known. We'll try to locate it. Green folder and silver picture album, also in bag. Estimated value $1,500. Officer Steiner notified and
Reference to case.
okay. Happened on 10/12 between 2100 and 1:30. Complainant advised me he would
call
the
TX,
serial
that's
number.
his telephone.
Okay.
Call the PD with the serial numbers.
Okay. Possible suspect James Vaughter, Rick Lynch, Nate McCartney, and Ben Jones. Front door kicked in. Complainant advised computer was broken. Okay.
Yeah, see, that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is the summary of Roberta's statement.
But look at all those witnesses. Witnesses.
Yes.
Roberta Souders, Emily Brown, Amber Heaton, Tiffany Boatwright, Rebecca Eamon, Amanda Pratt, Joel Pratt, Linda Cole, Emily and Jennifer Sprinkle, Jennifer West, David Lewicki.
Do you want me to read it? I read faster than you do.
Yes, please.
Okay. On 10/5/02 at 1900 hours, I assisted Detective Frawley of the Indiana State Police Department and Detective Gary Stout of the Tipton Police Department with the death investigation. The victim is identified as Tabitha Tabi Raines, age 16. Sergeant Timothy Miller of the Indiana State Police Department and I conducted a tape-recorded statement of the victim's mother-in-law, Roberta Souders. Tabi was married to Mrs. Souders' son, Michael Raines, for approximately 7 months, and the two have a 5-month-old son, Drake Raines. Mrs. Souders resides at 429 Northeast Street, while Michael and Tabi lived in the same house, but in apartment B. Mrs. Souders said she communicates with her children, Tabi and Michael, several times each day. She said that Michael works half days at Burnett's Auto Repair in Kokomo. On Monday through Thursday each evening, Michael attends Lincoln Tech in Indianapolis and arrives home at approximately 10:45 each night. Mrs. Souders provided the following account of her contact with Tabi on Wednesday, 10/2/02. In the morning hours, Tabi and Drake were in her apartment. Mrs. Souders watched Drake from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. while Tabi attended GED class. Tabi picked up Drake at approximately 3:30 p.m. and at approximately 4:30 p.m., Mrs. Souders observed Tabi taking Drake for a walk. At approximately 6:30 p.m., Tabi left Drake with Roberta, stating that Kyle Neff was waiting to take her to the hospital to visit Amanda Pratt's grandmother, who was very ill. Mrs. Souders said she never saw Neff, nor did she see any vehicle that Neff would have been in. Michael returned home from class at approximately 10:45 p.m. as usual and told his mother that he did not know where Tabi was. Mrs. Souders kept Drake overnight and called Michael at 5:45 a.m. on Thursday morning, but Michael still did not know where Tabi was, nor had he heard from her. At 7 a.m., Mrs. Souders called Debbie Neff, Kyle's mother, and told her that she had stopped at Kyle and Amanda's house last night, but that Kyle was not home. Debbie told Mrs. Souders that Amanda was home and not at the hospital with her grandmother. At approximately 11:50 a.m., Mrs. Souders had a telephone conversation with Kyle Neff, who told her that he brought Tabi and Drake to her house, but then took Tabi to the village pantry in Tipton, where he dropped her off. He said that Tabi was going to meet friends whom he did not know, and he told Mrs. Souders that this was the last contact he had with Tabi. Mrs. Souders stated that 2 weeks prior to Tabi's disappearance, she and Tabi had been at the Marsh grocery store in Tipton. Kyle Neff entered the store and informed Tabi that Amanda Pratt was in the car and wanted to talk to her. Following this conversation, Tabi told Mrs. Souders that Amanda and Kyle were moving to Greentown because they were being threatened by a drug dealer from Indianapolis. Tabi told her that this drug dealer, quote, got ripped off, unquote, and has threatened to kill Kyle, Amanda, and their baby. Tabi was last seen wearing black flip-flops, black stretch pants, and a black braided belt. Mrs. Souders was not able to recall the type or color of top Tabi had been wearing. She said that Tabi had wedding rings on her left hand along with Michael's wedding ring on her right hand. Mrs. Souter said that she heard Tabi was supposed to have met a female by the name of Liz Balser at the village pantry on Wednesday night. This information has not been confirmed. On 10/3/02 at 5 p.m., Liz Balser telephoned Mrs. Souter stating she last saw Tabi on Tuesday, 10/1/02 at Tabi's apartment, and that she had nothing to do with Tabi's disappearance, nor did she have any knowledge of her disappearance. On 10/5/02 at 11:07 p.m., Sergeant Miller and I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Emily Brown at the Tipton Police Department. She stated the following. On 10/3/02 at midnight, a group of friends went to Kyle Neff and Amanda Pratt's residence. Mrs. Brown, Amber Heaton, and Tiffany Boatwright went into the residence where they had a 20 to 30 minute conversation about Tabitha's disappearance. Amanda and Tabi had a falling out over Kyle. Kyle told Ms. Brown that he dropped Tabi off at Roberta's house and has not seen her since. Kyle also informed her that he and Tabi went to St. Joe's Hospital to visit Amanda and her grandmother. Kyle denied having any knowledge of where Tabi could be located. Amanda told
so wait a minute.
Okay.
Well, this is the police report. This is what the police are saying. Kyle also informed her that he and Tabi went to St. Joseph's Hospital to visit
Kyle
Amanda.
also informed her that he and Tabi went to St. Joe Hospital to visit Amanda and her grandmother.
But yet anywhere else he said he was never with Tabi.
But a line before that, he said he dropped Tabi off at Roberta's house and hadn't seen her since.
Right. Mixed up information.
Mm-hmm. Amanda told Ms. Brown that she had been home on Wednesday evening and also stated that she hopes Tabi is located and is okay, even though she does not like Tabi. She told Ms. Brown that if Amanda and Tabi paths ever crossed, she would kill Tabi. So that's who she told.
Yep.
Emily Brown. On 10/5/02 at 11:40 p.m., Sergeant Miller and I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Amber Heaton at the Tipton Police Department. Amber provided the following, as stated to her by Kyle Neff and Amanda Pratt. Kyle said that he and Amanda dropped Tabi off at her mother-in-law's house because they were going to the hospital to see Amanda's grandmother.
Okay.
There's
another version of the story.
They did not know at the time.
Amanda dropped Tabi off, but Amanda's already said that if they were together, she would kill Tabi.
Right. And Amanda had already said previously that she was already at the hospital, supposedly, when this happened.
Mm-hmm. So, sounds to me like Kyle and Amanda can't keep their stories straight.
Right. They did not know at the time that the grandmother had been released from the hospital at 5 p.m. on this same day, Wednesday. They have not seen Tabi since Wednesday. Amanda told Ms. Heaton, I hope they find her. She also told Ms. Heaton, if our paths cross, I'll kill her for trying to break us, Kyle and Amanda, up. So there's two people she said it to.
Yep. You got that right, Carrie. So their stories are off.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Big time.
Kyle told Ms. Heaton that he had their phone number changed 2 days ago because he is being accused of stealing a half a gram of cocaine from an Indianapolis drug dealer. The drug dealer is threatening physical harm to Kyle, Amanda, and their baby. On 10/5/02 at 11:52 p.m., I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Tiffany Boatwright. She told me the following. Thursday evening was the first time Tiffany met Kyle and Amanda. Kyle asked the three girls if they had any weed to smoke or any coke. Kyle told Tiffany he last saw Tabi at the village pantry in Tipton on Wednesday evening. Amanda told Tiffany that she hated Tabi and that if their paths ever crossed, she would kill her. There's three people.
Exactly.
On today's date, between 5:30 and 6 p.m., Tiffany had a telephone conversation with Amanda Pratt. Amanda had called Becky Amon's cell phone, and the call originated from Kyle and Amanda's residence. Amanda asked, did you hear about Tabi? Amanda believes that Liz Balser killed Tabi and wanted Tiffany to come to her house to talk.
Where'd they get that from?
Right. On 10/6.
Because up until this time, Really? Okay, go ahead.
On 10/6/02 at 12:45 a.m., I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Becky Amon, who states she has no knowledge of what has occurred to the victim. Ms. Amon was able to confirm that Amanda had called her cell phone and talked with Tiffany. She said that Amanda wanted Tiffany and herself to come to her residence this evening. On this date at approximately 4 a.m., Sergeant Miller, Detective Frawley, 2 Howard County Sheriff's deputies, and I located Jonathan Yates to interview him. We found him at an address in Kokomo. Detective Frawley
Yep.
had a consent to search form that he read to Mr. Yates. Yates signed the form, agreeing to have his vehicle searched. Mr. Yates drives a red Chevrolet pickup truck, which, after having been searched, was not found to contain any weapons or contraband. Mr. Yates was transported to the Tipton Police Department, where he was interviewed in my presence by Detective Tony Frawley. In his statement, Yates stated that he has known Tabi Raines for approximately 5 years, and that approximately 2 years ago, he dated her for about a week. He said Tabi was a freshman at the time and he was a junior. Yates said he never had sexual intercourse with Tabi, but that he did smoke marijuana with her. Yates said he last saw Tabi approximately 5 months ago when she had her baby. Yates gave the following account of where and whom he was with each evening since Tuesday, 10/1/02. On Tuesday evening, 10/1/02, Yates was at Robbie Nelson's residence along with Robbie's girlfriend, Mandy, last name unknown, and Tommy Nelson, Robbie's brother. On Wednesday evening, 10/2/02, Yates was at Paul Vasquez's residence. Also present at this residence were Jennifer Long, Jean Long, and Wes Miller. On Thursday evening, 10/3/02, Yates was also at the Paul Vasquez residence along with Robbie and Tommy Nelson and Tommy's girlfriend, Mandy. Robbie Nelson had purchased cocaine, and all of them consumed the cocaine during that evening. On Friday, 10/4/02, Yates was again at the Paul Vasquez residence along with Jennifer Long and Robbie Nelson. Liz Balser and a girlfriend, whose name was unknown to Yates, stopped by that evening. On Saturday, 10/5/02, between 3:30 and 4 p.m., Yates was at the Paul Vasquez residence with Wes Miller and Mr. Vasquez. Yates said that he, Miller, and Vasquez began talking about Tabi as a missing person and said that this was the first knowledge he had that Tabi was missing. Yates maintains he has no knowledge of Tabi's death and no idea whom she might have been with last. Yates said that he had smoked marijuana with Mindy Cisneros earlier on the same evening. Yates's last contact with Kyle Neff and Amanda Pratt was July 2002. When Kyle borrowed and burned some of Yates's CDs. He went on to say that in April or May of 2002, Yates was with Michael Raines and his sister Michelle Raines. They applied for jobs at IMMI in Westfield. Yates said he has had no contact with Michael Raines, Kyle Neff, or Amanda Pratt since these last dates.
Since May of 2002.
Right. April or May. This
is interesting because this is the only information that we have regarding Jonathan Yates.
Right.
Because we do not have his statements or deposition.
Well, we have one statement. We have a statement from Jonathan Yates. It's in the documents on Balser's trial, I believe.
I don't think it is.
Really?
We'll have to look. Yeah.
Okay. On 10/6/02 at 7 a.m., Detective Frawley and I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Amanda Pratt at the Tipton Police Department. Amanda stated the following. She and Tabi have been as close as sisters for the past 2 years, having met at Tipton High School when Amanda was a senior and Tabi was a freshman. Approximately 6 months ago, the two experienced some, quote, personal problems. During that time, Tabi wanted to have sex with her and Kyle, a three-way. However, Amanda declined to participate. Tabi also tried to break up Amanda and Kyle, which we know that's a lie.
Yep.
Because
Amanda was all for it.
Was all for it, and by this time they had already had a threesome.
Right.
At Buffy's house.
Right.
Approximately 1 month ago, Amanda talked with Tabi at the Marsh supermarket in Tipton, and she maintains that they both worked out their problems at that time. On Wednesday,
lie.
Right. On Wednesday,
because
Amanda's
know that after that, She still made comments that if if her and Tabi came in contact, she would kill her.
Right, because that's about the time of the pork festival.
Yes.
And that's one of the times that she told someone that she'd kill her.
So Amanda's trying to tell the police that things were all good between her and Tabi, and they weren't.
Right. On Wednesday, Amanda's grandmother, Jewel Pratt, had knee surgery at St. Joe Hospital in Kokomo, and Amanda says she was at the hospital with her son and her father from approximately 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. She says she returned home where she remained the rest of the night with her son. Amanda's sister, Andrea Pratt, visited Amanda for a short time. Robbie Nelson and his girlfriend, Mandy Amon, also came over for approximately 5 minutes. Now, hold up. Mandy Amon is who Kyle supposedly stopped to talk to when he came back into town from doing all the cocaine. Okay.
Yep. So that's another contradiction.
Right. So how could she be with her boyfriend at Amanda's house and be home at the same time?
Right.
Kyle was not home, but was out riding his motorcycle until approximately 10 p.m. Kyle told Amanda that he had seen Tabi and her son Drake at the village pantry at approximately 4:30 p.m., and Tabi told him that she was waiting on Liz Balser. Tabi asked Kyle if he had any drugs. She said that Kyle was at Mandy Amon's house from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and the remaining 2 hours he was out riding his motorcycle by himself before returning home.
Interesting.
Imagine that. Amanda states that she and Kyle have purchased narcotics from the following persons: Derek Boyd, marijuana; Jonathan Yates, pills; Liz Balser, cocaine; Tabi, last name unknown, cocaine. Amanda said
now this is the Tabi from Indianapolis.
Right.
Okay.
Amanda said that she and Kyle have also purchased cocaine from a white female also named Tabi on 52nd Street in Indianapolis, Indiana. This Tabi has threatened Kyle and Amanda because she says that some of her cocaine is missing and believes the two of them are responsible for the theft. Amanda and Kyle are considering moving to Greentown for their own safety and the safety of their child. Amanda received information from Mandy Amon that John Yates hurt a female subject and that Liz Balser is involved. Amanda maintains that she and Kyle have nothing to do with the disappearance or subsequent killing of Tabitha Shuck Raines. On 10/7/02, I had a telephone conversation with Linda Cole, who confirmed that her mother, Jewel Pratt, had knee surgery on Wednesday, 10/2/02. Jewel had the surgery at St. Joe Hospital in Kokomo and was in the hospital from the early morning hours until approximately 6 p.m. on that same day when she was released. Mrs. Cole said that her brother and Amanda's son were at St. Joe Hospital from approximately 11:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. She also stated that neither Kyle Neff nor any friends of his or Amanda's ever visited them that day.
So we know that Tabitha, our Tabi, was not at the hospital.
Right. And neither was Kyle.
Right.
On 10/7/02 at 9:45 a.m., Sergeant Tim Miller and I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Emily and Jennifer Sprinkle at their residence. Emily stated that she and Tabi were together from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. on Wednesday, 10/2/02, at a GED class, which they both take. She said that she and Tabi walked to the Susie Richter residence at 324 Poplar Street in Tipton. Emily dates Mrs. Richter's son, Larry Davis, who is 20 years old. Also present at the Richter residence were 17-year-old Ryan Davis and 15-year-old James Davis. Emily stated that the six of them talked for approximately 1 hour, after which Tabi left by herself sometime between 4 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Tabi told them she was going to go pick her son up at daycare. Emily did not know what Tabi's plans were for that evening. Emily stated...
Don't we have reports that people saw Tabi walking Drake at 4:30?
Uh-huh.
So another
Roberta said...
inconsistency.
Roberta said she was home at 3:30.
Right.
Emily stated that Liz Balser, a friend, usually calls her every other day. However, since Tabi's disappearance, Miss Balser has not called her at all. Jennifer Sprinkle stated that she had received a phone call from Liz Balser on 10/6/02 between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Jennifer said that Ms. Balser was freaked out about Tabi, but did not give any specific details. Jennifer thinks that Ms. Balser was calling to see if she and Emily had heard any rumors, but did not tell her that. On 10/8/02 at 4:40 p.m., I conducted a tape-recorded interview of Daniel Lewicki at the Howard County Sheriff's Department. At the time of this interview, Mr. Lewicki was incarcerated on a charge of public intoxication, arrested from the night before. Mr. Lewicki said that on 10/7/02 he had been drinking alcohol with Camille Pride and a white female by the name of Liz at Little Daddy's in Kokomo. He said that earlier that evening, Camille and this Liz subject picked him up in front of the Tipton courthouse. They all went to Marie Farlow's trailer, located in the trailer park on the west side of Tipton, and were there for approximately 1 to 2 hours.
Okay, did you see what that date was on that?
10/7?
He's saying it happened on 10/7. When Liz and all them are saying it happened on
10/2.
the 2nd.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed
So
that.
that is a big inconsistency.
Lewicki said the three of them went to the Little Daddy's bar in Kokomo, where they remained from approximately 9 p.m. until 1 a.m. Lewicki said that sometime near midnight, Liz started crying and said, "People think I killed her, but I didn't. Kyle killed her. Kyle blew her head off." Liz
What?
indicated...
That's a new one.
Mm-hmm. Liz indicated to Lewicki that she had been with Tabi just prior to her being killed and mentioned the name Brooke Mendenhall. He went on to say that Liz gave no details of how Ms. Mendenhall might possibly be involved in this incident. Mr. Lewicki identified Liz Balser from a photo array that he was shown at the jail and reiterated that this was the first time he had ever met her. He said he has known Ms. Pride for approximately 6 years. Investigation continuing.
Okay, so that's big. First of all, this guy is saying that they all did this at Little Daddy's on 10/7.
Right, but if you go back and look at his arrest record, it was 10/2 is the night he got arrested.
Okay.
So it's just a misspoken date on his part.
Yeah. But Elizabeth said, "People think I killed her, but I didn't. Kyle killed her. Kyle blew her head off."
Yeah, that's the first time we've heard that.
Yeah, Barbara Hall and Carrie, that is an oh my God and a wow. Absolutely.
Okay, we've read the next page. Actually, the next couple
Yikes.
pages. We just read all those not too long ago.
Photograph scenes.
And we've read that one. That one's the where they go to Jonathan Yates's truck.
So in here it does say they took 2 rolls of 35 millimeter photographs, including aerial photographs.
The aerial photographs was from the helicopter.
Steiner videotaped the scene.
Right.
And then 2 individuals made a sketch and took measurements of the crime scene. So there's 35 millimeter photographs and Polaroids and digital pictures were taken by the coroner.
What page are you on? 17.
I'm investigation continuing. I'm on page 17.
Okay, yeah, that's where I was.
Services performed photograph scenes, utilized GPS, attended autopsy, sketched vehicle, dusted for latent fingerprints, and collected trace evidence.
Mm-hmm. And we've read that one before.
Well, we've read a different version of it. This is actually by
John Nystrom.
Yep. So it's talking about the autopsy was performed, who was there. They did do a sexual assault kit, and a bullet was recovered from the victim's head.
Yep. Okay, now read on down. Hang on. It says, I began processing a suspect vehicle for which a search warrant had been obtained. The vehicle was a red 1977 Buick Park Avenue.
4-door sedan, gives the registration and VIN number. They photographed and sketched the vehicle.
Right, and that's when they did all the fingerprints. Right. But everybody, what I'm pointing out here is they're saying, he said it's red.
Yeah.
Everybody else is saying it was rusty color or orange.
Right.
I guess the rust color would be red. I mean, you could, a lot of people say maroon burgundy is red.
True. The only latent print recovered was a faint footwear print on the interior of the right rear passenger window.
Right.
Trace evidence lifts from the seats of the vehicle were made. They vacuumed the floors, recovering the evidence in collection filters. And all of that evidence went to the Indiana State Police Laboratory.
Right.
But will be stored at the Tipton Police Department pending further investigation.
Now, this next page, 19, this is a case that happened in Miami County, and I think it accidentally got put in here.
That's not the first time we've seen that with Tabitha's file.
Right. Because this is a criminal confinement case.
Okay. Yeah, it's talking about a bedroom window. None of that applied to this case.
Right.
Okay.
And then this one is about Yates's truck. Just tells everything that they did to it, which we've already read that. It was just by Steiner. It says they found the Tonfa, cigarette butts. They removed part of the right rear passenger seat, passenger floor.
Did they ever? Because it says in here there also appeared to be muscle and other tissue in the right front wheel well.
Right, yeah, it said that on the other one.
Did you ever find out if that was an animal?
They said it appeared to be animal blood, is what the certificate of analysis said.
Because that's what it sounds like, because they said there was damage to the front bumper, grille, and hood, with most of the damage located low on the bumper. Sounds like a deer or something.
Right. Or a raccoon or a possum or whatever.
And they did luminol, and there was reaction on the jack cover, so that's why they took that.
Right.
And on the seat and seat back in the right rear.
Which is supposedly where Derek Boyd said she was sitting.
Right. That's what we're talking about in the truck.
Right. Okay, page 24 is...
Because it's the vehicle that they're talking about now is a 1996 Chevrolet Silverado bearing. So that's the truck.
That's Yates's truck, yeah.
They're talking about all the damage to the bumper, grill, and hood. Appeared to be muscle and other tissue in the right front wheel. Well, a sample was collected. Trace evidence lifts from the seat and seat back of the rear seat of the pickup truck, and recovered trace evidence and cigarette butts from the ashtray and floor area of the right rear passenger compartment. Luminol was utilized on the right rear passenger seat, the right rear portion of the passenger floor, and underneath the right rear passenger seat. Some reaction was noted on the jack cover under the right rear seat and on the seat and the seat back in the right rear passenger compartment area.
Yeah, because they took this actual seat and the seat back, and then they told them they didn't need the whole seat, they just needed that area, so they just cut out the area.
Right. They also took a knife sheath from the glove compartment, a utility knife box cutter, and the wooden tonfa.
Right.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I appreciate it. For the super sticker. All evidence was transferred to the Tipton Police Department for storage pending further investigation. And then they contacted the Indiana State Police to find out what was the best way to submit the seat and other items for analysis.
Right.
Okay.
Next one is just more of the GPS and the metal detector where they didn't find anything.
So Detective Gary Stout of Tipton County Sheriff's Department and Detective Mike Tarr on the Indiana State Police Department interviewed a witness who pinpointed an area in the park where the murder allegedly took place. Detective Tarr photographed the scene, and Tipton Police Department crime scene technician Kevin Steiner videotaped the scene. We searched an area approximately 15 yards by 15 yards in the northern part of the park, located on the south side of Cicero Creek.
Which would be 45 feet by 45 feet.
Yeah, I obtained a GPS coordinate for the center of the area searched at north 40 degrees, and it gives the rest of it.
Right. And that we know who the witness is. Andrew Bush.
Right. Searched the area with metal detectors, but did not recover any evidence at the scene.
Yep. Okay, this next one's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
On Friday, March 28, 2003, I interviewed Dan and Susan Fennessy at their residence in Tipton County. Dan Fennessy stated that on October the 5th, 2002, at approximately 9 a.m., he and his wife had been eating at Cheryl's restaurant, as they do quite often on the weekends. He stated that Amanda Pratt, whose name is currently Amanda Neff, was their waitress, which she oftentimes is. Susan Fennessy said that Amanda appeared upset, therefore she asked if something was wrong. Amanda told Susan that her friend Tabitha Raines was missing and had not been found. Susan said she told Amanda that hopefully Tabitha would be found, and Amanda responded, she'll probably be found dead, and it'll probably be drug related. Now that was on the day she was found. Dan Fennessy said that on a later date, he and Susan again were eating at Cheryl's, and Amanda was their waitress this time too. He said that Amanda had a discussion about Tabitha Raines with him and Susan, and Amanda told them that Tabitha made an excuse to her in-laws so they would watch her baby on the date her body was found.
Wait, what?
Now, here's the thing. if you go up, it says on 10/5 at approximately 9 a.m. is when she told them that Tabitha was missing. She'd probably be found dead, and it would be drug related. Okay,
Right.
but then he said that on a later date, he and Susan again were eating at Cheryl's, and Amanda was their waitress. He said that Amanda had a discussion about Tabi Raines with him and Susan, and Amanda told them that Tabitha made an excuse to her in-laws so they would watch her baby on the date her body was found.
What does that mean?
Right. Mr. and Mrs. Fennessy believed that the above statements made to them by Amanda Neff were out of the ordinary.
You
This officer
think?
has nothing further to report at this time.
I'm telling you, the more we read this, the more whatever Amanda and Kyle says gets all. They can't keep anything straight.
Right. Okay, the next one is what you just read a few minutes ago. Word for word about the metal detector and GPS. 15 yards by 15 yards.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this one is kind of interesting.
Mm.
On Wednesday, March 26, 2003, myself and Detective Mike Tarr conducted an interview of Aurelia Ramos at her residence located in Kokomo, Indiana. A sworn taped recorded statement was taken of Ramos at that time. Ramos had forwarded a letter to the Tipton Police Department with information pertaining to Elizabeth Balser and her mother, Linda Moss. Ramos stated on October the 3rd, 2002, she retrieved a voicemail message from her telephone left by Moss. Ramos recognized Moss's voice from previous conversations, and Moss specifically referred to Balser. Moss stated Balser had been arrested on drug charges and was in the Kokomo jail.
Okay, hang on.
Howard County jail.
And she was in jail on October 3rd?
Hang on. It
The
has
day
been
after
confirmed.
Tabi went missing?
Listen. It has been confirmed that Balser was not incarcerated in the Hamilton, Howard, or Tipton County jails from September the 30th, 2002 to October the 9th of 2002. Moss stated Balser was being questioned in a murder case involving a girl found dead in Tipton. Moss asked Ramos to write a letter stating Balser had stayed the night in Ramos's apartment on October the 2nd of 2003. That's a year later. That's probably a typo. It's probably supposed to be 2002.
Yeah.
Ramos stated Balser has never spent the night in her residence, but has visited. So, what I take from that is her mom was trying to get her it was saying, oh, she was in jail. She was in jail, but then they found out, no, she wasn't in jail. So then she wanted this lady to lie and say she had stayed the night at her house.
Exactly, Carrie. So she was lying and setting up an alibi for her daughter.
Right.
Because you got to remember, Moss is Elizabeth's mother.
Right. Ramos stated she spent the night of October the 2nd, 2003. Once again, it should be 2002.
Yeah.
At a friend's, Aurora Gomez, residence located in Kokomo. Ramos returned home early afternoon on October the 3rd, 2002 to find the message. Ramos last spoke with Moss 1 to 2 months ago, and Moss has never mentioned the letter again. Ramos stated Moss has called her residence on occasions before, usually looking for her daughter, Diana McClish, who lives with Ramos's son, Rudy. Now, Rudy Ramos is the one that Liz was supposed to be in the car with at the ATM.
Oh, interesting.
I asked Ramos if upon her return home on October the 3rd, 2002, did it appear someone had been in her apartment? She stated yes, because she found 2 cigarette butts and 2 empty beer bottles that weren't there when she left on October the 2nd of 2002. Ramos said she doesn't smoke or drink, but her son has access to her apartment, so she didn't think anything about them and threw the cigarette butts and beer bottles away. Ramos said she sometimes leaves her door unlocked. Ramos stated that McClish had given her a pair of tennis shoes several weeks ago that McClish said belonged to Balser. McClish said Balser was moving from Kokomo back to Tipton and didn't want the shoes. Ramos stated McClish gave the shoes to her after the body of Raines had been discovered. I took possession of the shoes. They were transported to the Peru Post and placed into evidence. The shoes will be lab tested for DNA.
Interesting. So, Elizabeth's mother wanted this Ramos lady to give Elizabeth an alibi.
Right.
But that didn't happen. But yet her son supposedly gave Elizabeth an alibi?
No, her son is who Elizabeth was with supposedly on the ATM pictures.
Right. Meaning he gave her an alibi because she was supposedly on the ATM pictures.
Right. In one of the pictures.
Right.
It appeared that she was in the vehicle with him. And then Liz's sister, Diane, gives this lady, this Rudy's mom, a pair of tennis shoes that Balser supposedly didn't want anymore, and it was after the murders.
Right. So to me, it sounds like this woman, this Ramos, is trying to help the cops out, but not help the cops out.
Well, to me, it sounded like she was trying to help the cops out because she didn't give him she didn't give her an alibi. She told her that that there was things in the house that weren't there when she left.
It's still suspicious to me because why
she gave him the shoes?
But why was she given the shoes?
Well, because Diane, Liz's sister, was dating this lady's son. Rudy Ramos was the Orlia Ramos's son.
Right.
And Diane, who gave this Ramos lady the shoes, is dating Rudy, or was dating Rudy. And Diane just gave her the shoes and said that Liz was moving out of Kokomo and didn't want the shoes anymore. But Liz didn't live in Kokomo.
No.
She lived in Tipton. She lived in Tipton when Tabi was killed.
Right. Do you remember what it says as far as where the shoes actually tested for DNA? Wasn't something...
A white pair of K-Swiss.
Was anything found on them?
No. No, remember?
And
supposedly they've been bleached.
In other statements, we have information that Liz was bleaching the bottoms of her shoes.
Right, and that statement is coming up.
Okay.
It's in this folder. Okay. Now here's where you need to. Here's what I was talking about just a few minutes ago when we were on the phone beforehand. On March 20th of 2003, I assisted several officers with the arrest of 3 individuals involved in the death of the victim in the case Tabitha Raines. At 20:35 hours, Sheriff Craig Henderson, Trooper Jack Horner, Sergeant Tim Miller, and I went to Kyle Neff's residence located at 5985 West State Road 28 in Tipton County. Sheriff Henderson and I went to the rear door of the residence where he was arrested for confinement and assisting a criminal. At 20:40 hours, I assisted Mr. Neff of his Miranda rights and transported him to the Tipton County Sheriff's Department with the assistance of Sheriff Henderson. During his transport to the jail, Kyle Neff denied having any knowledge of or involvement in this case. While at the Tipton Sheriff's Department, I assisted in mugging and printing Mr. Neff and with a second individual arrested by the name of Jonathan Yates. Detective Tony Frawley will submit with the processing information regarding this case. The officer has nothing further to report.
2040. What time is that?
8:40 at night.
So 8:40 at night, Kyle Neff was arrested.
Right.
So our big question is when
On March the 20th.
On March the 20th. When was Kyle Neff's house searched? We've got to find the answer to that.
Well, it'll be in Tony Frawley's thing.
Yep.
Okay, the next one is just... Huh?
Can bleaching shoes get rid of DNA?
Yes.
It can get rid of DNA, but it would
won't get rid of
still
blood.
show blood.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, the next ones are all the Andrew Bush stuff that we've read already. I know we've read this because I remember reading it.
So it says arrested 1, Elizabeth J. Balser, arrested 2, Jonathan Yates, arrested 3, Kyle Neff. So the key part here is March 18th, 2023.
2003.
Or 2003, sorry. Stouts received information that Andrew Bush was possibly involved in or had knowledge of the individual or individuals responsible for the murder of Tabitha Raines. So that was 2 days before 18th.
Yeah.
On the 20th, right? You said?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
3/20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
2 days before.
Okay. So 2 days before, they find out that Andrew Bush has information or is possibly involved.
Right.
And 2 days later, they're all three already arrested?
Right. Well, no. Hang on. On the next page, it says on March 19th, they contacted the Clinton, Illinois Police Department and went and talked to Andrew Bush then. Then it says arrangements were made for Detective Stout and I to interview Andrew on Thursday, March the 20th at the Clinton, Illinois Police Department. Then it says on March 20th, Detective Stout and I arrived at the Clinton, Illinois Police Department at approximately 9:15 a.m. So they talked to Bush the morning of the 20th and then arrested
all three
them.
Of them were arrested
that night.
That evening.
Right.
Did they use alumina on the shoes to light up the shoes?
I'm sure they did.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, this is just all the account.
But you got to remember, this is the police's version of what happened.
Right, but I think we've read this one because this was in the Tony Frawley file that we read. I mean, I'll read it again if you want me to. No biggie.
Yeah, let's start with this one tomorrow night, though.
Okay.
Because we've been going a little over an hour. I don't want to go too long over an hour because there's so much information in these. And so many inconsistencies. I mean, look at what we've read, and you and I have already pointed out how many inconsistencies just from this. Yeah, I agree. Something's rotten in the police narrative. Or in the depositions because it doesn't match.
Okay, so further on down in that, it says he telephoned Jay Rich, and him and it was decided that Detective Stout, Prosecutor Rich, and Chief Gordon Taco, and the Sheriff Craig Henderson and I would meet at the Tipton County Jail at approximately 4:30 p.m. before attempting to obtain arrest warrants for Balser, Yates, and Neff.
So basically, once again, the whole reason Neff, Balser, and Yates were arrested was solely based on Andrew Bush's account of what happened.
Right.
Nothing else. And we know that Andrew Bush got a deal for his dad in the case of, what was his name?
Shane Jackson.
Shane Jackson's death. They would not press any charges against Andrew Bush's dad for Shane Jackson's death if Andrew Bush gave them the information about what happened to Tabitha Shuck Raines.
Right.
They took the information of one individual
who was totally messed up beyond belief.
Right. Who shouldn't have even been standing, and counted that as the truth of what happened that night. So many red flags. All right, let's see here. It reeks of poo. Yes, it does. 100% red flags. You betcha. And yes, Shane Jackson wasn't the only kid that had been overdosed.
Yeah, there was three. There was three, and one of them died.
Right.
But the other two were taken to the hospital.
Wow.
What are you wowing?
It's just amazing to me that out of everybody that they talked to, they only took the information that Andrew Bush gave them. And went with that story and that narrative.
Because it was easier for someone to hand them their case.
Right. Why would they have to actually investigate it?
Right. When they supposedly had a witness.
Yeah, a very, very messed up witness. So many red flags.
Which with everything that we've talked about over the weekend, he may not even have been a true witness.
True. He may not have been there at all.
Exactly.
Yes, Bush must have been closest to the narrative they wanted or needed. Absolutely. All right, everybody. As our heads spin with the information provided tonight and the inconsistencies that we've already pointed out, We
Wait till
are
we read
going
tomorrow because that'll blow your mind. What's coming up
yeah.
and all the other statements.
Yeah. I think it's important that we just read all of these because we're finding too much
He said, she said.
inconsistency between the police version and the witness versions. Crepes, we may have to do this again Saturday just to get through all these.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anybody here would complain if they got 3 Tabitha episodes in 1 week. That's for
I'll have
sure.
to let you know. I'll have to let you know if I can do it Saturday because Brooke's coming. Since Brooke didn't come up today, she's coming up one day this weekend, but I don't know what day.
Okay,
She has to work Saturday, so yeah, she has to work Saturday, so I'm assuming it'll probably be Sunday.
Okay.
That she comes up. So.
All right, everybody. If you're taking notes and you've been taking notes,
You better get more notepads.
Yeah. Get more notepads because there's a lot of crazy stuff coming up. And
we haven't even got to the witness actual statements.
Right.
We've only read the main characters.
Right.
And the police.
So all I gotta do is hang on to those seatbelts because we're in for a bumpy ride. Gloria, once again, thank you so much for the super sticker. We always appreciate the support.
You just got another one too from Carrie Summers.
Oh, Carrie, thank you so much for that super sticker. We appreciate it. Yeah. Way too much BS. I like that comment, Justice Angel. Cover up? Yeah. Thank you so much, Gloria. We appreciate it. We're trying to do all we can when it comes to this case. And there are things happening behind the scenes, I can tell you that.
Yep.
So, as we keep reading and finding inconsistencies and everything like that, plus getting some things behind the scenes, like I said, we're starting to put those puzzle pieces together. And I do want to say the same thing from Rescue All the Dogs for me. I am so happy that the first memorial walk for Tabitha went so well. I enjoyed meeting everyone there that day that came. And I hope that as we continue to do more memorial walks for Tabitha, that more individuals will show up and learn about her case, and that I can meet more of you. So, thank you, Gloria. That means the world to both of us. Right, Andrea?
Yep. FYI, Bob only has 4 more treatments left.
Oh, thank goodness.
Amen.
God is good. 4 more. So if you didn't know, some are new here. Not only is Andrea been dealing with waiting for a new grandbaby, but her husband has been going through, what is it, chemo?
Radiation.
Or radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For nasal cancer.
Yep, he's got 4 more treatments left. So we are very thankful that he's getting through this.
Yep.
Yeah. Marv didn't know who I was. I had to yell at Randy to be quiet. Yeah. Justice for Tabi. Absolutely. That is why we're here. And we're going to get it, y'all. Say your name. All right, on that note, everybody, we are going to get off of here, but we will be back tomorrow night to read more of the Chaos story.
Same bat channel, same bat time.
Yep. All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.